All right, thank you for staying with us. It is health this morning, and we are talking about food. Boma is our guest today. She's a wellness coach, and we're talking about the advantages of taking whole foods.
Yes, whole foods. Yes.
All right, it's great to have you. You're welcome.
Yes, thank
First
you
of all,
so much.
I love you says the Whole Foods Project.
Yes.
First of all, if I ask about this, what do you mean by a whole food?
Yes.
Is there any half food? Is there quarter food?
That's a very good question.
Okay.
Yes. So when we say whole foods, we mean the real foods.
There's
We
fake
mean,
food.
yes, they are real foods because you have so many artificial foods out there. You have
Okay.
foods that are made from chemicals, foods that are GMO. So GMO means they've been done in the lab. You also have foods that are artificial. They are, they are packaged. All those packaged and processed foods that you see in the supermarkets.
Foods.
Those are not real foods.
Okay,
So real
okay.
foods means foods from the soil, nature-based food.
But even when you process, it starts from the soil now, doesn't it?
Yes, but the problem is people take these foods from the soil and they change the nature of the foods.
Okay, so give me an example
Yeah.
of whole foods.
Whole foods. So whole foods are simply, foods like yam, white rice.
Okay.
That's a local white rice. And then you
Okay.
have legumes like beans, lentils. You have nuts and seeds. You have whole grains. So there are so many. And then fruits and vegetables.
Those are whole
the,
foods.
Yes, those are whole
And
foods.
the other one I want to ask, what are the ones you say that the artificial foods, the ones that are produced in the labs? What kind of foods
So
are they? Give me examples.
Yes, examples of such foods. You have the packaged pasta that you see on the shelf. Yes.
That's not from the soil.
No, that's not from the soil.
Like
and then
at all.
okay, so it's gotten from whole grain, but by the time they take it through a process, that's why you have the pasta.
Okay.
And then you have things like instant noodles. You have all
I
these.
just hope our chef is not cooking pasta or anything or noodle or anything like that today. Because,
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So,
Yes.
what are these benefits now of taking these whole foods, as it were?
So looking at research, when you feed on whole foods, you're able to improve your well-being. You're also able to reduce your risk of getting sicknesses and diseases. And that's why we want to encourage people to adopt this lifestyle. Because if you even look at the society today, especially for Nigeria, our medical system is overburdened with a lot of diseases and sicknesses that are not, necessary. So if people can do their own due diligence, and look into these foods, that's a very good alternative.
Chicken and chips, whole food?
No. Because
Chicken is...
chips,
Okay.
first of all, chips is already packaged, is already processed. It's been taken through a stage where all the fiber in the, of course, chips is from potato.
Yeah.
So they've taken the potato and they've removed all the fiber from it, and they've added a lot of chemicals, sodium, and all sorts of things that are not good for the body.
But chicken is whole food?
Chicken, it depends. That's another thing.
Okay.
Every chicken out there is not chicken. You have native chicken, you have agric chicken.
Ah.
So
And we don't know when they buy barbecue and put pepper.
Yeah.
And listen.
So this concept of whole foods is really broad. It's very broad. It boils down to the genesis, the foundation of the real deal. And people need to know these things.
So now another question I want to ask is that when you cook food at home, you are more assured that you're taking the whole food than when you buy outside,
Yes,
right? Because you are not sure where it came from, how it was processed, and all of that. So you would encourage more people to cook more at home than eating out. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Let me start with what of catfish? Like,
Oh no.
is that? But
I'm
that's
going to ruin
point
some
and
people's
kill.
morning. Yes, point and kill is not good because that's also
You want to
artificially
we'll
grown.
end this interview now.
No, but we have other
Point and
kinds
kill,
of.
but you're seeing it live now.
Yes, but it's grown. It's grown. It's not it's not done in a natural process.
Because you're trying to
Yes.
replicate to you're
Exactly.
trying to make profit and all of that. Yeah?
They even give them all these artificial feeds. So all these things matter.
The same it happens with chicken. Where do we even start? Like the way this thing is going, man.
So that's
Chiefs just
why.
eating vegetable.
So that's why we're doing the Whole Foods project, because we want to inform people on how to identify these foods, on how to prepare these foods, because identifying these foods is not enough. You also need to know how to prepare them. Some people add some spices that are not good. Like I'm sure you've heard of the MSGs. You must have heard of them before.
Not really.
Yes.
What are they?
Okay, so these are artificial salty seasonings that a lot of us use to make our foods more tasty.
Oh,
And
so
these
probably restaurants and all of that might use them quite a lot, yeah?
well, I would say majority of the restaurants in, everywhere, Nigeria, name it, you find they use this spice.
The spices.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't want to call any food brand so
Yeah.
that they don't come after me, but this is the
You call it for me
reality. We need to delve into more of our natural spices like curry, thyme, cinnamon. There's so many. God has blessed us with a lot of natural spices. So it goes back to, it goes
Yeah, no,
back
go ahead.
again
It's all about you.
to cooking methods. The spices
methods,
you use, and also your cooking methods like boiling, baking. These things matter. Some people think it doesn't matter, but it really matters because you need to ensure that the nutrients in your foods are preserved.
Are preserved. So how would you recommend one cooks? What would you say in that level? Let's say you can't overboil beans now. Beans, they take time to dawn and all of that. How do you is there an issue with maybe baking in the oven, as it were? Or some people talk about even microwaving, that there are some things that it's not good to microwave, and they'll give reasons and all of that. What would you say in that?
So the thing is, people need to understand that when you're cooking, like boiling, for instance, you have to use medium heat. You have to use medium heat.
The beans will reach 3 hours, so you use medium heat for beans too.
That's why this thing is a technique. And that's why I'm here today to let people know that.
I'm asking for beans. Do you use medium heat for beans?
Yes, you can use medium heat for beans. Yes, you can.
If you take time, more.
There's what they call soaking of beans, and then you now boil it.
You soak it?
Yes.
For how long?
Roughly maybe an hour.
Before you now boil. So you want to cook beans by 5 o'clock, and you start by 1 o'clock.
There are different techniques to it.
Techniques to
it.
Okay. Yeah. So, the whole food project is about identifying, and then what to take and what not to take.
Yes.
And then fruits come into it. But one other question: some people tell you that eating healthy is expensive. Is that true?
Well, to be honest with you, that's the notion that people have had for so many years. But the truth is, having a healthy lifestyle is way beneficial than spending so much money on Medicare. Just think about it. Because the truth is, when you are down with an ailment or a disease, you're not going to think about the cost of, treating that disease. So it's always, another thing is, eating healthy is actually achievable in a very affordable way. The problem is people do a combination of unhealthy eating and healthy eating.
Unhealthy eating.
Yes, they do that combination. If you look at someone's food basket, someone that goes to the market or goes to a supermarket, you see that they have a lot of artificial foods, and then they also have some of those whole foods.